It's Cheating Tuesday, as Big Bad Vlad loves to call it, and as it so happens, we've even got a scandal breaking. This game here, though, picks up in the midst of it all. Late tournament, final round, we've got Hikaru Nakamura with the white pieces, and with black, world number 1, Wingardium Leviosa. The winner of this wins the entire event. What a game. Buckle up. E4, best by test from Hikaru, and we get the advance of the sea prawn, an aggressive Siciliano from Magnus. Knight f3, he goes for this La France variation, whispers on guard, he loves this one lately, and Hikaru goes for the little pawn push, looking to set up the big centre, but Magnus gets there first. We get captures, pawn recaptures, and now d4 for the score. This knight develops into the game, bishop b5, done with a whoosh by Hikaru. Magnus developing his ponies, neighing ever so softly as the top players do, and after castles, bishop e7, it's time to gobble a sea prawn. Hikaru does it with a nom nom here. Magnus takes back, and now he's wandering into a check. What a naughty boy. But here's his point. He blocks with the bishop, and if you try this, knight g5, looking to mincemeat black there, well, bang, who's really getting attacked? Outstreams the queen, that's a loose bishop, and that's absolutely horrible for the white king and white position. So, no knight g5, bishop e3, following the old maxim, always get your bits out. Now we see takes on e3, rook recaptures, and Magnus gets that king to safety. Hikaru taps the table gently, just like they do in snooker for a good shot. We see knight d4, natural as sage and onion, or epic and cheese. Now queen b6, pressure, pressure, pressure. Is the bishop getting loose? Well, we don't need to find out. Hikaru gives it up. Now we see pawn recaptures, and Magnus looking to advance c5 here, but before he can do it, Hikaru pushes his own juicer, shuts it down. You can play a5, Alpha Zero-esque, but Magnus goes immediately with this one. We get pawn recaptures, queen takes, hang about. Are you not walking into this and this and this, and you've shed a pawn, and a big one at that? Well, bang, this is the follow-up response. Again, you've got problems with the f2 square. Now, hang about. What if queen captures? Never explored this. Okay, you get back rank mated or branked because you've not yet developed rookie in the corner. So, too many problems on f2. That's why Hikaru carries on getting his bits out. Excellent stuff. And now the bishop steps back from that genuine attack. h3 played, takes control of g4 and i4 there. Now we see h6, gives that black king some Lufthansa, queen f3 activates here, and a5 from Magnus. Love it. Push the rook pawn. If in doubt, Hikaru does the same. Look at those juggernauts just clashing on the board here. Love when these guys play. Rook fe8, attacks that open file, and now Hikaru plays a cheeky move here. Surely you capture there, you know, looks very natural. You can't double the rooks or you drop this pawn here. But no, he plays rook d3, setting up this kind of rook knight sandwich, but it's a bit risky. You know, the rook's kind of trapped there, doesn't have a lot of room to maneuver. Magnus now brings this cannon into the game. He also could have hit the open file. Very good move. And now I really love the subtlety of this next move. We get knight 4 to b3. Why not go knight 2 to b3? Excuse me. Well, this one here is covering e4 and therefore this jump. Very cool levels of detail that these guys are seeing in an absolute flash. They're so good. And after queen c7 from Magnus, attacking that important diagonal, Hikaru plays an absolutely shocking move, queen to g3. Who goes for a queen trade against world number 1 endgame GOAT Magnus Carlsen? He'll grind like a grandma all day long, but Magnus doesn't take it off. He goes queen b6, Look at his biggest fan. There's Barry, absolutely turns his back away in disgust that Magnus didn't take the queens off the board. He's Magnus's biggest fan, very well proportioned goat, not a happy boy right now though, and now Hikaru activates with queen f4. You let me have this diagonal, fine Magnus, I'll creep onto it some more. Really nice multi-purpose move. Is rook g3 on the way? Will Magnus, not to be outdone, now fights back with a corker of a move. But just before I show you that one, a huge shout out to the sponsors of today's video, MyHeritage. Please do have a listen to this one. Oh my word. This is MyHeritage, the #1 place to discover your family story and potentially even reunite with long lost relatives. And could it be easier to order the test straight to the door, swab the cheeks, whack it in the envelope, back in the post, few weeks later, here we go, let's click. I'm not sure what to expect, right? Probably a load of UK, European, that kind of thing. Here we go. Okay, 2/3 English, that's to be expected, right? It is where I live. Where's the rest of it? Okay, ton of Irish, Scottish, Welsh, fine. What about the remaining 4% or so? Oh my word. I'm part Jewish. Okay, I was not expecting that in the absolute slightest. How do you even say that? Ashkenazi. Okay, and then some Scandinavian. I expected that. So these are my results here. You can also view the full ethnicity estimate. And if we go to DNA over here, now go to DNA matches. And now you can actually see which people in the world, basically, who have signed up for this could be potentially related to you. Really, really incredible. And this is how people are actually connecting with each other. So click the link down in the description or scan the QR code on screen. Get on over to MyHeritage now and use the code CHESS at checkout to get free shipping today. And now back to the chess. So Magnus plays knight e4, roaring back into the game here with a Hikaru attack on the way. It's active, it's beautiful, because if knight captures, looks great, you know, what about the pin here? Well, then there's rook takes. You can see Stock Barnacles absolutely pooped its pants, because after the queen gives ground, somewhere this knight drops. Its brother left its support. This is the problem. So the knight is untouchable. And then what to do? If you take the hanging pawn, then there's knight takes on c3. The rook left the defense. You're hitting the knight, but also threatening this massive fork on e2. Rook e5, no problem. Still land the fork. You can take through an x-ray, that kind of thing. Lovely tactics. So, how to fight back? c4 best, but Hikaru goes queen f3. Given the miss, Magnus now should rook lift from c6 to f6. Strongest plan. He sees the idea, leans back, puffs out his chest, says, do you even rook lift, bro? But it's given the miss because it's not the most precise lift, but still good. Black a bit better now. What does Hikaru do? Well, finally sees the idea. He just mic drops, explodes the board with c4, the dynamite move. If takes, then that bishop's hanging, and even though you're on the knight, white's now on f7. This is the kicker at the end of the line. So we get rook f5, shutting down those ideas, converging on f2, therefore queen e3. Really important move. No time to crash through. Queenie's hanging. This time Magnus is like, let's go, buddy. You want to end game with me? We can end game all day long, but Hikaru's no slouch himself. He's won more title Tuesdays than anyone in the world. We now see takes on d2. Again, no time to take because of this. Knight recaptures, still no time to take. So bishop e6 from Magnus. We get this liquidation, but all is not what it appears. Equal, because Hikaru's got 3 pawn islands versus 2, and look at Magnus's wooden shield, dominating the knight. e4, the strongest move, but not played. Hikaru lifts, anticipating this, defending like this. Really nice defensive maneuver. The engine's very harsh at times. Now he even covers the a pawn, but in vain, because Magnus double hits it. You can't hold on. Hikaru pushes. Now it drops off off the board, he activates the knight, but Magnus is a pawn to the good, and it's an A pawn running, defended at that. He's in the driver's seat here. Rook b4 played, and now a move that makes Hans Feingold wince. F6 on the board here, but it looks natural. Opening the king to join the party. Not like a knight. That's what I meant to draw. Now we see knight d5. King f7. Knight c3 hits that rook. It comes to a3. King f2. Bishop c2 now played. Opens the attack. Knight defended. And now there's this very nice maneuver, but not obvious. Doesn't come to mind. If you go bishop d3, leaving the defense of this pawn, well, it can't actually be captured, or the knight drops. And if knight takes, whoops, then the rook drops. This is the problem. So you jump away with check, of course, to stay with the knight. But then there's this. King e3 looks so natural, right? Put a bit of pressure on the bishop. But then this, counter shot, this and this. And you've taken away all the white squares from the rook, and the knight can soon drop. I mean, I didn't even explore what if you counter attack here. Oh, you take with check. Right, fine. And then you defend, etc. Ninja lines. Not spotted. Magnus comes back this way. Why do I mention all this? Because somehow he just can't get that A-pawn rolling. Hikaru up on the clock. Magnus playing on seconds. Now the knight activates, and what a tricky guy it is. Look at this knight hopping around the board here. A pawn drops on the G file. Magnus steps from the check. Now knight d4 hits that bishop, and it's an absolute tour de horse because bishop c4 is played. Rook a7 comes behind. Magnus should now check, but he goes for more with a3, just blundering this knight fork on seconds. Hikaru goes to Forkville. Population Magnus. This one drops. Suddenly he's a pawn ahead. What is going on? What a switcheroo. Called a draw, but anything but in blitz chess. Hikaru with the extra pawn, and now the better minor piece because it's so tricky on low time. Pawn attacked, defended. Epic commentary as ever here on Epic Cheese. Do consider subscribing if you haven't yet done so. Never miss a terrible video. And now we see bishop f1. Knight b5 offers the exchange. Magnus obliges. Knight takes back, and boy, are you in to suffer here, because now the knight hops around. The pawn's defended just in time. The king's boxed down to the defense, and Hikaru can just play and bounce all day long. Huge pressure for Magnus. He covers. He's defending for his life here. Brings round the bishop. Surely you can now take. Well, amazingly, after check, this is still a draw because you're in a bit of a zugzwang. If you try and move this knight anywhere, which you have to do to make progress, then this pawn drops here. If you advance, we take. So this is the thing, and the king can never step away and still defend the knight. No good. So the knight has to move. Pawn drops. So Hikaru didn't take. He hops back, goes for a new maneuver here, and now in this position, Magnus Carlsen, defending like a lion, goes wrong. But it should be known, just at that moment, down on the street, a herring stall just set up. The waft of the fresh herring comes in through the upstairs apartment window to where Magnus is playing, into the nostrils, brain fart. He goes bishop a6. He had to stay on this diagonal here, or just wait with the king, because now he allows the move of check, king goes, and there's a winning move here for Hikaru Nakamura. Can you find it if I give you 8,049,000 seconds? Very well done if you saw. Knight d6, key maneuver. Take away the c8 square from that bishop. King f5 coming. Here's a sample line. The bishop's in jail. You can come round here, but check and you win a pawn, and it's a clean pawn. You know, eventually you get the e-pawn rumbling. It's game over. 2 to the good. But missed. Hikaru goes knight d4 instead. It goes back to level. Magnus hits the all-important diagonal. Now knight c2. Lots of maneuvering, but Magnus is still in pole position. Don't take off the pony. G takes then the winning move, and you get an e-pawn rumbling, distract the king, bring the white king this way. So this was played. Magnus understands it. Lots of bouncing around. This pawn defended, and now after bishop f3, finally Hikaru changes the structure with e5. We get an exchange of prisoners. Magnus now to move, and this is an absolute shocker. That herring really just wafting round the brain canal. Even with his oversized throw, he plays bishop d1, blundering an entire minor piece. What a shocking move, but Hikaru doesn't take it. Both of them scrambling on seconds, pre-moving. This is why we love blitz chess. The bishop goes back here, bishop d1 again. Now this knight hops back and we get lots of bouncing around the board. Why isn't Hikaru pushing the pawns? Well, the moment you do, there's this and this and this kind of thing, and you just give up the bishop. That's a drawn endgame. So this is how the game proceeded. Lots of shuffling, lots of checking, but they gain a second per move. That's called increment. We get to this position here and a fighting draw is agreed, which means this: Hikaru takes the tournament, Magnus in third. Very hard fought one there. Now don't forget, check out the link in the description to MyHeritage, or scan the QR code on screen and use the code CHESS at checkout for free shipping. Thanks a lot for watching. Check out the video on screen for another epic game of chess, and hope to see you soon. Cheers.